homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today it's time to harvest seeds for the mortgage lifters. I show you these seed harvesting videos and how to save seed over and over and over and over, because sustainability is the thing. When I was teaching physics and when I taught math, and repetition. I know, I show you these over and over and over. Pretty much saving all tomato seeds is about the same. I showed you how to save small batches with a yellow tomato that we grow, a potato leaf variety. But this is with mortgage lifters. Now, a mortgage lifter is a large heirloom tomato, and I'm going to bring you over into the field and we're going to harvest some, and then we'll go back and be in the shade. It's getting a little hot out here. The hurricane down in Texas, everybody be in prayer for those folks. That's it came ashore as a Category 4, and this morning when the sun lifts, we're going to see some devastation. So be in prayer for those folks. Let's go down here, and I know this video probably won't upload for 2 weeks, so because I'm behind so many other things to do, I'm behind getting the videos uploaded. So if it doesn't upload for 2 weeks, it's still, those folks in Texas will need your prayers. So let's go down here and look at the mortgage lifters. Now, I've pretty much let these grow. I haven't harvested any off of them yet. I haven't came up and maintained the vines. I haven't done any of that. And this is the type, this is what kind of tomato a mortgage lifter gives you. Oh. Well, let's put a better one. This is the kind. It's your typical heirloom tomato. These are having some cracking problems, but like I say, I haven't maintained them. I haven't done anything to them. I wanted them to go to seed, and that's what they've done. But you can see they're almost to the top of the cage. Before summer's over, they'll top this and come all the way back down the other side. So I'm going to get down through here and harvest a bunch of these so I can get plenty of seed. There were only 9 plants. That's how many tomatoes they gave me. A mortgage lifter is pretty prolific, but as I'm cutting them up, we'll talk about why they're called a mortgage lifter. Okay, here I am under the maple trees. It's a nice shady place. I like working here. It's time to get these mortgage lifters cut up. Now, a mortgage lifter, just a big old heirloom tomato. They're big and they're ugly, but they're packed with flavor. Unlike the stuff you buy at the store that tastes kind of like the box it came in, these have a flavor all their own. Not hardly as good as Cherokee Purple, but close. So I want to harvest the seeds for these. Of course, the seeds that I planted this year for these were from 2012. This is 2020, so they were 8 years old. Maybe 9 years old if you count by the seasons. So, of the about 25 seeds I had, I got 14 plants and only 9 of them survived the transplant. So, and that's the way it is when you bed plants. A lot of them don't survive the transplant, about 25%. So, this is what I've got. I've got a whole 5-gallon bucket of them, or a half of a 5-gallon bucket. I've got a bucket here to put my seeds in. You want to make sure that you clean that bucket out good and there are no residual seeds from some other tomato saving. And then I've got a scrap bucket, same bucket I've been putting my scrap peppers in, where I've been saving pepper seeds this morning. It's a seed saving morning. It's fall time to get at it. I think this is August the 27th or 28th. Not certain of the date. But I'm going to go ahead and take my knife and get these ready. And I'll bring you over so you can see where the seeds are in the tomato. These are a beefsteak tomato. If I cut it open this way, and this one's overripe, you can see the seeds are around the outside, so it's a whole lot easier to cut it open the other direction. But I'm going to go ahead and just knock these seeds out of here. And I'm probably going to just see if I can't squeeze those out. And it's alright if you get a little pulp in there. Don't matter. I'm going to pull that out. Get any seeds off of it. They're out of there. So you lay it open. And any seeds that are left, pulp and all, you can just scrape them right down in there. That's how much flesh you get out of that. Now, as far as canning goes, canning mortgage lifters or Cherokee purples is super hard. Alright? We very seldom try to can these. They're a fresh eaten tomato and a freezing tomato. They make awesome Creole. It has a way more flavor than, say, a Roma tomato Creole or a canned out of the store tomato Creole. So we put these in the freezer, and when you take them out of the freezer, the skins just rub off. Of course, I don't never worry about that when I'm making Creole. I leave the skins on. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these cut up, and then I'll show you what to do with them. Okay, I got them done. All the seeds are in the bucket. I've added about 1.5 gallons of water to the bucket. Washed out my other buckets to make sure there's no seeds left in them. I'm going to take and cover it with a lid, but I'm just going to lay the lid on there. I'm not going to snap it down. It's just going to lay on top. I went ahead and washed the lid because the lid has been used for other tomato seeds, so I wanted to make sure that there were no tomato seeds left on it. So I just put it on there and just lay it. I don't snap down or nothing because I want the fruit flies to bring the bacteria that'll cause this to turn to vinegar. Now this will need to go in a dark spot, out of direct sunlight for about 3 days, and that will be enough time. Now some people say, well, you know, you can take and just take those seeds out of the tomato, rinse them good, put them on a plate, and have your seeds saved without this 3-day wait and without messing with rotted tomato. That's true. You can do that. But if you get a seed, if you get a tomato that the seeds are not as mature as they need to be to sprout, or there was something wrong and those seeds were not mature enough to sprout, well, what happens is if you save them that way, you get those seeds along with the seeds that will sprout. With this method, all the seeds that are going to be viable and sprout sink to the bottom. And all the seeds that won't be viable, the immature seeds, the unfertilized seeds, all that, they will float with the pulp at the top of the thing, and you can dip them off so that pretty much all the seeds you get left are viable and will sprout and raise tomatoes. So I'll let this set for 3 days, and then through the magic of video, we'll come back and show you what you need to do to get these ready to put them up as seeds. Okay, it's been 4 days. Let's do our mortgage lifter seeds. Now, what you're going to find when we open the bucket, and I'm going to bring you along to just open the bucket for the first time. I haven't opened it. What you should see is a white mold on top. And there may be some margos in there wriggling around, but that'll be okay too. That's a natural process. I try and cover it so that the blue flies or the green flies don't get in there and lay their maggots. But fruit flies, you need them to bring the bacteria that causes the tomatoes to vinaigrate, to turn into vinegar. So let's go over here and have a look and see what it looks like in the bucket. Okay, here's our bucket. I just had it in a building, and let's take the lid off. You see there's a nice coating of white mold, which is exactly what you want to see. And I see some wrigglers in there too. Smells delicious, you can imagine. So now what I want to do is I keep an old pot out here by our water system. Now what I want to do is I want to just kind of stir that up a little bit. Okay? Any of the viable seeds that got caught in that top layer will sink now. And any bad seeds will remain floating. See, I see some bad seeds. I'm sure you can too. They're still floating in there. Those seeds would not germinate anyway. That's the whole reason for doing this by vinegration. So let that sit for about 10 or 12 minutes and I'll show you what to do. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes and show you what we're going to do for these tomatoes. So we start by cleaning out the stuff. So let me get you turned down there. All we do to start with these, of course, here they are. I want to dip out any of that tomato stuff. I'll put it here in another bucket so I can haul it up to the compost pile. You don't want to dip all the way down. You just want to skim the top. Because what's happened is your viable seeds have sunk all the way to the bottom. Again, this is the best method for saving tomato seeds. And you could just save them. Okay? You could just save them. But what would happen is if you just took all the tomato seeds that were in all those tomatoes like we had, if you just took all the seeds and got them all, you'd get a whole lot of duds. And that's what we don't want to get, is a lot of duds. So now I've got most of the duds skimmed off. So what I want to do next is I want to take my good sieve, and it's big. As a matter of fact, it's big enough that it hooks on a 5-gallon bucket like that. And now I will pour off a lot of some more scraps. There was still a lot of pieces of tomato. So now I want to stir this up good so I get all of the seeds. Well, I didn't get all of them. Just smells so delicious. Okay. Got 99% of them. Now, that's our seeds from our mortgage lifters. Now what I want to do is I want to rinse all this so I can get all of this tomato goop that's left out, because this will all be really, really soft, and as you wash, you can just kind of mash it through the sieve. So let's go over here and do that. You want a good healthy flow, okay? And that way, you're going to rinse all of this stuff, any of the remaining juice and stuff, off of the seeds. Then once you've got them rinsed good, you want to accumulate them kind of all in one spot. And what that does is it just makes it easier for you to get them out and put them on a paper plate. Now, it'll take 2 paper plates for these. There are so many seeds. So I want to take this, and I'm going to put about half of them on this paper plate. Then I'll put the other half on this paper plate. And you can take this big old sieve, if you turn it over and you just tap it, and they fall right off on that paper plate. There'll be a few left out, but see, most of them are out. I'll wash those down again. Once that's done, you want to spread out these seeds on this paper plate as good as you can. You can't spread them perfect because they're still wet. You just want to get them all spread out like that. Now, what am I going to do with these? I've got 2 plates of them. Now, this will be somewhere, I don't know, probably in the neighborhood of 200 or 300 seeds, 400 maybe. So this will last me 5 to 7 years. I think these seeds were 8 years old for the tomatoes that I planted these from. So these will last a long time. I'll be selling some of these on our eBay store because I got enough of them to really sell. See, here's the other plate. Get these spread out. I'll be able to sell a few so you can garden along with us. I'll do it on eBay. I'll announce that in November or December, the address of the store. I think, because I'll probably have to pay taxes on this stuff, I may start it the first of the year. That would be plenty of time if you were interested in getting some of our seeds so that you could garden along with us in the spring. I'll be putting little reminders out about when it's time to start the tomatoes. You know, I may even put out a little spring calendar for zone 6, 7, and 8, and 5. But I don't know about that. We just have to wait and see. Those are all spread out. Now, these get set up on top of my refrigerator, and I'll show you what they look like because I've got another set on top of the refrigerator right now. Alright, after about a week on top of the refrigerator, this is what they look like. You want to take and rub them up, and then I run them between my fingers so that it breaks up the individual seeds. It takes a little bit of effort, but not much. Now, they tend to want to stick to the plate. Don't use a napkin. See how my finger just rubs those up? A napkin, and it would be a nightmare. A coffee filter is even better than a napkin, but nothing works like a paper plate. And get a good paper plate with a wax coating on it. It just makes life simpler. Now once those are broken up good, and you don't have to be perfect about breaking them up. I'm going to get them mostly broke up. Then all I do is put them in a Ziploc storage bag, not a freezer bag, just a storage bag. And I think this is actually a Dollar General brand. I don't think it's Ziploc. We don't buy name brands. And there'll be a few left on the plate. You want to work those up too. And really, if you've got a good paper plate, you can just rub it and they'll come right off. They stick because they were wet when you put them on there. And I'm not going to worry about every seed. Some of these seeds are real tiny and they may not come up, especially after you've rubbed around on them. So, okay, that's all there is to saving seeds. That's ox heart. Of course, this is the video that I showed you how to save by vinegration the mortgage lifters. So, there's our ox hearts. And then I just make sure that the air's out as much as possible. I don't vacuum seal them or nothing. And those will keep for a long, long time. Okay, that's how you save mortgage lifters. A lot of seeds there, plenty of them. All that we're going to need for the next 3 or 4 years. Plus, I'll have plenty to put on our eBay store if anybody's interested. Now, if you like this kind of stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. If you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. So now, with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.